Hello, welcome, everyone. How are you all doing today? As you all are joining in, give me a hey, give me a hi. Let me know where you're joining in from. I am coming to you all by way of Texas. Goodness, we have so much going on in Texas, you guys. So let me know if any Texas people are out there. Y'all know it's like voting season. We have like 17 propositions, all type of things happening in Texas. So let me know where you all are joining from. I am Latrice Huff, career and leadership coach to women of color, and it is my goal and my mission to put more money in the hands of women of color and to put more women of color in leadership roles. And we define leadership here as influence, impact, and income, not necessarily supervising 100 people, okay? So, which brings us to today's topic. The truth about working twice as hard for half as much and why that is not the answer. If you're like me, in my culture, I grew up hearing this all the time. You have to work twice as hard for half as much. And I lived by that for several decades, not several, for a couple of decades till I was in my late 20s and realized it didn't make any sense. And the people that were getting ahead were not working twice as hard as me for one, and were not earning half as much as me for two. And so I was like, I don't think this is the answer. So share with me again. I want to know about you all. Have you heard this before that you need to work twice as hard for half as much, right? Hard work, hard work, hard work is the key to everything. Now, I am now in my 40s and I can tell y'all that ain't true and that is a lie. I know some hardworking broke people and I know some very successful, rich, lazy people. Okay. And I'm not going to say they lazy. I'm just say they ain't working hard all their life. Okay. They're not working 80 hours a week. So, in saying that, let's really talk about where this comes from. This statement is what I like to call a cultural cure and curse. Meaning, at some point, I think, this is my belief, we as a people and sorry, in certain cultures needed this to get ahead. We needed to work twice as hard and accept half as much. We needed to do hard work, hard work, hard work just to make enough to survive. So that's what I call like it was a cure at one point, but a cure can also be a hindrance. It can also be a curse. Right now in 2025, going into 2026, that will hold you back. You will be lapped. You will burn yourself out. People will just continue to work you and pay you as little as you are willing to accept. So I've heard about women having panic attacks in the parking lot, having heart attacks at work, right? Having anxiety every time they think about their job, or freaking out and having nightmares on Sunday because they're in these toxic environments, working themselves to death, taking half as much, not even earning the salary and the income as the person sitting beside them. And it is now becoming a hindrance to your health and your well-being and your wealth. Because the moment you turn that on its side, right? The moment, and I had someone challenge me for this, and it was a person who did not look like me and was like, well, what if you could make twice as much in half the time? And I was like, whoa, wait a minute. Like, and you start to challenge how you can do these things. And it is possible. I have built my business on this. This is why I love personal branding, because you could use your brand, revise your messaging, update your website and your LinkedIn, and now take a job making $20,000 to $50,000 more. Right? Like without doing additional hard work, without going to school and getting another degree. But to me, this notion of working twice as hard for half as much, it is not the answer to success as it was at one point. Again, it's a hindrance. You could burn yourself out. I've seen, and this has recently happened, someone gets so caught up in a toxic situation and it hit their confidence so much that they took a $20,000 pay cut. So now you're still working hard and making even less than you were making before. Instead of being like, I am confident. I know that I have put in the reps. I've put in the work now. I don't need to work twice as hard for half as much for my entire life or even my entire career. I can find a better way. And that's going to be the challenge for you, is to find a better way, because this whole notion is working. Think about it. You're going to work twice as hard as the next person and earn and accept half as much as they're making. Why would any company give that up? And what incentive does the person next to you have to work even harder? They're like, well, you're just going to do the work and I'm going to get promoted and make more money. And that's what you're accepting. So this is why I strongly believe that working twice as hard for half as much is not the answer. Even with the economy, even with your switching, if you're going to be switching um, or pivoting careers. I recently just did a workshop on how to successfully transition out of the government. And I gave several examples of clients that I've helped go from government work to even private sector or on their own business and make more money and work less and enjoy what they are doing. Okay. If you're interested in that, and I have another workshop, how to successfully pivot careers beyond 40. If you want the free access to any of those workshops, put pivot in the comments and we're going to get you access to that. But in those workshops, in both of them, I go into detail about the steps you can take, the mindset you need to have to really switch careers, pivot, do something else, and earn more, so that you're not working twice as hard. Especially the older you get, the longer you've been in the workforce. You have expertise, you have experience, you're qualified. You do not need to continuously work twice as hard as the next person. And then even when you get in your own business, and this is, I own my own business, and I took this mindset. I was like, okay, I can see now this mindset doesn't it's not great in the workforce, but with my own business, I need to outwork everybody, all my peers, everyone around me in this imaginary industry, right? I need to work. No one could see the work. People didn't know I was doing it. And I was just burning myself out, like not spending enough time with my family, completely unnecessary, and not even earning the money I want. And what really shifted this idea for me when in my own business was when my mom was terminally ill. And because at the time I had worked from home, my sisters and I decided I would take a week every month. I would take a week off and take care of my mom after chemo, after her treatments. And in that time, I thought I could just work while my mom is home. If you all have ever been a caretaker, you know you can't do that. And so it left me with this problem of like, how do I continue to make money and work less? Because I still needed to take care of my mom and I couldn't work as much. By the way, this was right before the hype of 2020. And then while I was doing this, everything shut down. Right. And then it was like 2020 and everything went crazy. And it really forced me to challenge what I was saying, because I could not work twice as hard because my son's daycare had also shut down. So then I had my son home with me. I had to travel with my son and go see my mom, spend that, and run my business. And I wanted certain things for my mom. I wanted to buy some like specialized equipment for her. So tossing my hands up and not having any income wasn't an option either. And this is where, for me, even in my business, I really was like, you need to think, Latrice. Well, what if we chose working smarter, not harder, versus accepting the fact that I would need to work twice as hard? And I was able to triple my income working less. So this is why this working twice as hard, it's not the answer. You're just going to work twice as hard. Like you're not going to make more money working twice as hard. I even know people who have two jobs. And I was like, how much are you making working two jobs? Are you making 60, 70,000? Some people even are making 80, 90. I was like, you could just get one job and make 150,000. Like everything that you're doing, you can just work one job and make 150,000. Okay. So I just wanted to make this quick. Come on here, share this message with you all. Share this out. I want you all to share this out. If you know someone who needs to hear this, if you've heard someone say this to you, like, girl, you got work. We got to work twice as hard for half as much. I'd be like, no, we don't. Latrice said, no, we don't. Send them this video quick. I'll be like, look at this. You can watch this real quick. She said, And she gave some good examples, and she told us why this was not an answer and what our life would look like if we continue to do this. Can you imagine the stress you would put on your mind and your body if for the next 30 years you continue to work twice as hard for half as much? What does your house look like? What does your mind look like? What does your hair? I know people hair falling out, skin all messed up, but they giving these companies everything they got and nothing left for themselves. No, this is definitely where it comes to working smarter, not harder. In fact, I currently enrolled in like this investing course on like how to invest in the stock market. And one of the things the instructor talked about was how investing in stock is like the real passive income. And I was like, oh, that kind of is true. But was saying we have to get rid of this notion that we need to work for every dollar because we can allow our dollars to work for us. So once we start to, I don't want to say reject, but piece apart the notion that we need to work twice as hard for half as much, it opens you up to see other things, other scenarios, other ways that you can easily increase your income, that you can easily start to invest, that you can easily live the life that you want to live without burning yourself out. All right. So I just wanted to make this quick. But again, if you all are interested in those workshops on how to pivot, and I go more into detail about how not to work twice as hard for half as much and exactly what you should be doing instead, put pivot in the comments. I'll send you the link to those free workshops, and I will see you soon. And if you are, I want to say this because it's getting close to the end of the year. I always get a ton of people who are like, Latrice, we want to work with you. If you're interested in directly working with me and you know you want your 2026 to look different than your 2025, you want it to be better, you want to make more money, you want to have more peace, have more time for yourself, and you don't want to work twice as hard for half as much, DM me lead and I'll send you a link. You can book a free consult with me, and I'll also share with you the different services I have. I have a leadership legacy course, which is for business owners and people in corporate who want to get to 250K or who want to get to 200K or more. And then I also have private coaching. Usually that is for people who are already in leadership roles and want some additional support there. And I have a Fearless Branding Formula, which is my program to help you reach your first six figures and beyond. So if you're interested in any of those, just DM me. Just DM me lead and I'll go ahead and share that information, and I'll send you a link so you can also book a call with me. Okay. You all have a wonderful day, and I'll see you all next week. Thank you.